So you guys both, I guess, were recruited, or rather came from the player base. How common have you found this to be, that people have just sort of, people who are passionate about it and people who just kind of play it say, hey, look, I can do this.
All the time.
You
All
know?
the
Yeah,
time.
Yeah?
it's pretty much I would say 90% of the current dev team has been players that from the player base have just graduated and either done what I did, start as a tester and then kind of migrate in, or are they already had some kind of skill and they said, hey, look, I this game's pretty cool. I should try my hand at a couple things. And yeah, that's
What do you think about that? What do you think some advantages and disadvantages of that, I guess, organic approach to it would be?
Yeah, we get a lot of content done really quickly, and I noticed that like the development cycles for high-profile mods, seem to last forever, and really one thing that I like to think PR prides itself in is like a high turn rate.
Yes. I would agree with you there. And when you say some of
makes
them
sense.
last forever, they literally last forever. Like, they never come out.
yeah.
How big is the mod team, just to get an idea? Do you have any idea?
We're around 50 to 60 right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It grows and shrinks though, depending on people will cycle out, or what happens frequently is people go inactive.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
real life calls. They either get really busy in school. A lot of what's happening now actually is a lot of our guys are getting deployed because
Yes.
they've joined and they're deploying. So it's like literally.
Yeah. This is something I want to
the same
ask you
guys
about
who are-
in more detail later on. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, it's a big crowd. It's a big team, and it's what's cool is it's very global.
Yep.
Like we've got people in the United States, Canada, Brazil, Germany, UK, Australia. A guy from Japan. We just moved back here in Canada, but he was living in Japan for a while. And Russia. You got places from all over.
We got Chinese.
Yeah, Chinese guys now.
How do you with this sort of global I guess global approach to it? How do you handle the logistics? How do you communicate between one another?
The easiest way is the forums.
Yeah, we use the forums. It's sometimes it can be it's definitely an obstacle because of time zones and everything else. But we've done pretty well. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
it's I think the main thing that brings everybody together is because everybody's a player first, and then they get to the dev team. Everybody's passion for the game
Yep.
really comes out in the work, and it makes the organization.
Everybody'd want to see the same end game. I guess they're all working towards the same goal. They want to see the mod improve, and they want to
Exactly, yeah.
help in whatever way possible.
And there's always discrepancies on which way. There's been a lot of discrepancies on which way that we want the game to go.
Yeah.
But overall, everybody does have a very positive outlook on it, and it's really it's cool to see. Like Chuck, when he goes, sometimes there will be like a massive, it's like we gotta get shit done, and Chuck will go on like like a massive like 24-hour working spree.
Just a binge.
And that, yeah, and that kind of energy really like brings everybody gets into that. He's like, oh shit, Chuck's doing all this stuff. Well, Qatar, and he's got to get started and work on all his stuff. And it's like, oh shit, I got to get all my stuff done.
Yeah.
So really, like, we feed off each other's energy. Really, you can.
That's
even
really
though-
cool.
Yeah, it is. It's like even though we're not in the same building, we're around the globe. But
Yeah.
just seeing all this new stuff come in, and we're on TeamSpeak. Everybody's very excited. It really has like a buzz around it, especially close to release time. It's
Yeah, I know
really-
exactly what you mean. And I mean, like, working on something for 24 hours straight might sound like a nightmare to some people, but I experienced the same kind of elation, I guess it was, when I work on my own little indie games. It's just, and when you actually get something done, it feels so good to actually see it in movement that, I completely
Yeah, I agree.
understand where you're coming from with
Although
that.
probably when I see it in movement, I think, I could fix it up a bit,
Yeah.
and I do.
Yeah,
And it
that's
just
the
keeps
other
going
problem,
and
isn't it?
going.
Is you're never happy
Yeah.
with your own work, and you're constantly going, I could have done that a little bit better, or maybe put a few frames here,
Yeah.
Well,
You got to kind of drop that, otherwise you'll never release anything.
a lot of our guys are perfectionists too. Like Chuck's a bit of a perfectionist, and some of our mappers are perfectionists. They really. The thing is, for most of these things, because of the way it is, it's never really done. It's never really finished.
No,
It's
yeah.
just you gotta move on. At some point, you just gotta say, all right, gotta move on to the
Yeah,
next thing.
that's right.
So
I can always come back to it later.
yeah, and you could. That's the cool thing about modding. You can you're not under like time. You're not under time restraints really. You are, but you aren't. You can always go back to it. It's a hobby.
Just going off what you were talking about, the discrepancies. Have you guys ever had like a major, I guess, not really an altercation, but a major disagreement that's you've had to kind of work through?
Yeah, we've had a couple.
without naming names, to not be a backstabbing bitch. Do you want to go into more detail?
Rhino, no. It's I would say PR is a unique in a mod sense because every time a new version comes out, like we haven't done a 1.0 yet or whatever, right?
Yep.
I know that doesn't really mean anything really, but in a PR's way of looking at it, or it has been our philosophy anyways, every version that comes out is a new gameplay experience. You can't play a new version like you played the old version. That's
I completely agree with you. You have to kind of relearn each version.
Exactly.
Each time.
And I think that's a bit unique in a mod, because not too many other mods you see like, oh, every time they release, you pretty much have to relearn the damn game.
Well, that's the thing about PR is and I don't want to sound like we're shilling it too much, but I do genuinely feel this is that it's extremely ambitious and it does a hell of a lot with the BF2 engine that I never thought would be possible. Like I never thought you'd be able to see player-built buildings in Battlefield 2.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so it's cool that does happen because you are actually adding a hell of a lot to it.
And that's definitely a testament to some of our coders, like one of our main coders, DB Zhao. He's done so much that with the Python within the game, you would never, and it's not like it's an open-ended game that just the sky's the limit. It's not like that at all. It's like, okay, nothing works. You have to basically hack everything.
Yeah.
And if you want something to work, you've got to try like 5 different things until something works, and then you've got to make that something work into the kind of like mold it into the way you want it to work.
It was never designed for this kind of STK based work in the first place.
Not at all.
So.
Think of it this way,
but
it's like virtually all our PR's features, ranging from game modes to kit limiting to vehicle limiting and spawning and all that. Yeah, I think that was all DB's work.
Amazing. Hats off to him. I didn't know it was all that one guy. I thought it was like a team of people working furiously day in, day out.
No, DB from Brazil. He's and he's the great thing too, though. Like me and him, we play together all the time, and we kind of we play on the Tactical Gamer server all the time.
Yeah.
So like we have these gameplay experiences, and then we always talk about them afterwards, and we always say hey, what could be improved. What was crappy? What how are players reacting to the things that we've done? And we use these experiences to build upon the next version.